Hi, my name is Will and welcome to the Distorted Transmission for today. I'm talking to a band called Dead Empire. How are you guys?
Good, thanks, man.
Thanks, man.
Band intros, or band member intros, I should say. So could you guys introduce yourselves and the other member who isn't present, please?
I'm Matt, and I'm the drummer in Dead Empire.
I'm Michael, the guitarist.
And I'm Kane, vocalist, and we're missing Joel, our bass player.
Yeah, the
He
bassist.
could turn up any minute now.
You've been around a wee while, but as always, I'm blissfully ignorant of the band's movements and overall progress, so perhaps we can look at the band's history to kind of delve into that. Who would like to sort of tell me about the band's history?
Well, we had in the early stages, we came from a band that was the Northmen, and then that kind of broke up, and then we still had Kane in the band.
And Milky.
And me and Kane were in the band, and then things fell apart as they do, and then we were about to call it quits, and then we met Matt. We through Kane, who they were in bands before, and pretty much saved our bacons, and we found a new jam space. Then we advertised for a bassist, and it happened pretty quick actually. And then before we knew it, we just got a vibe on each other, started writing, and started to love what we were doing. And
Cliche band story.
yeah, almost, and things just kind of fit, and the energy was great, and the ideas kept on coming, and it was kind of just kept on steamrolling. But yeah, that's the short of it, really. Like,
The next thing, you had a Corosonic Live Lab demo of 4 tracks released last year, and now you're back with a track which has a lyric video that dropped on August the 25th called Where You Found Me. It's a cool song, but it's also a pre-save on Spotify, so you've already kind of released it on YouTube, but it's a pre-save on Spotify. Could you kind of explain what the reasoning is behind that?
So basically with that, it was like a soft release. We weren't meant to fire it up because we were plugging it for a gig that we were doing with Shepherd's Rain at Tauranga. And we left it up, but didn't line it up with the other dates. So it's surprise.
IT situation.
Yeah.
Bad. Yeah.
It was meant to be up and come down and then go back up at the right date, but yeah, a long sneak preview.
Where did you record the track?
So that was recorded locally with Nathan Zauter. We tried doing our own recording and all the rest of it, but decided to get a producer in and give us a hand, kind of guide us, because we're all a bit computer illiterate when it comes to the likes of Logic. It's all done live tracks mainly, so we wanted to try something different. And so that was recorded locally at his place, and the drums were recorded at Studio 11B. What's
your feelings about the end result? Are you happy with it? I mean, it sounds good. I'm not trying to be,
It's such a huge learning process. Like Matt was saying, that trying to work it out ourselves, and it's without any real experience. So we really owe it to Nathan to step up and like show us what it's actually like and what to look for. And we're stoked with the end result. It's having that professionalism and those kind of that air that we just don't have. And as Matt's saying, the learning how to like
He kind of became
use all that technology.
became a fifth member of the band. It was really cool.
Yeah, he had that experience, and his willingness to help and kind of understand where we were too was really great. Like we kind of got that little step behind the curtain to view everything. So,
and it's funny
big
too
help for us.
how you said, what do you think of the track and all of that? It's interesting because with music, it's always evolving. So that was like, what was that, 2 months ago or something? We recorded that. We now jam the song, and art just keeps moving forward. So it's like the track's wicked and everyone should listen to it. But now we even jam it, and we've even grown as a band and got better since that period.
One of the reasons why I asked that is because as Dead Empire, you've done that live 4-track before, but sort of like recording a live EP as opposed to like recording like a studio track, it is quite a different vibe, and you can sort of invest a lot more of yourself into sort of a proper studio track. Like you can get it exactly the way you want it. And so I was just wondering if you are sort of happy with the result that you ended up with, because sometimes it can be lacking. I've recorded stuff in studios and it was kind of it wasn't as good as I perceived it to be. So yeah, I was just curious.
Going under the microscope to that level is like playing the same drum track over and over, repeat. It was definitely eye-opening, because when you come to the live track recordings, we're in and out one take, boom.
Yeah.
Like we were meant to do with the Chorus Sonic, we were meant to do, one song. We ended up smashing out 4 in a lot of time frame, and did it that way. But yeah, definitely a massive learning curve. Definitely out of your comfort zone, but at the same time, constantly learning.
A good kind of feeling, a little bit scary, but at the same time, it's what it's about. It's that musicianship of like knowing what you're playing like the back of your hand. You don't need to think about it, and it's getting to that point where you're fully comfortable, and yeah, learning that kind of not really under the gun, but that kind of pressure, because it's almost self-inflicted to a degree. If you think too much, then
yeah. You can kind of unravel yourself.
At the same time, new ideas come out of that too. So I really enjoyed it.
You're saying those why the live tracks were released and now the studio tracks are released or coming soon on the 8th, as in why we went for that decision? Is that what you were asking?
I was just like curious about your experience as musicians. How the difference between recording live stuff, which I personally have also done, and recording studio stuff, and the great divide between the two experiences. One, you can really hone in on stuff. You can like overdub and sort of retrack stuff. You can layer stuff, things that you can't do live. You know what I mean? So I was just wondering how that experience was for you.
We kind of pride ourselves on being able to have that energy of playing live. So always doing live recordings is just that high energy, and you can do it. And that's what I enjoyed about the other aspects to it, because it's you can't just finish the recording, drop everything, and that's kind of done. It's that you have to continually work with it, and I reckon it makes good musicians when you learn that side. When you go into record, you do the layering, and I think you get a better result too, because if you do it in one big take and you stuff up this bit, or you make a mistake here, some people like that kind of raw sound. But yeah, it's all when you record live, if you don't get it in that moment, you do the whole thing again or whatnot. But having it broken up, and when you do the more kind of like session stuff, I loved it. I thought it was what musicians need to kind of practice to have their chops down to really get to know it. Because when it's all live, it's just up the bag, play it, nail it.
How well do you actually know your own song?
Yeah. Do you know the structure? Do you know how it works? Yeah.
Before I press record, you kind of told me a little bit about Chorus Sonic, so maybe you could sort of tell everybody about it and who runs that.
He's a studio out of what's it? Coromandel. Yeah.
Chorus Sonic Lab.
Yeah, Chorus Sonic Lab. Boom. No, but he does a lot of DJ work up that way, but he also has background in progressive heavy rock. So he really enjoyed recording us, and those are the tracks that are on Spotify. And what are they? About a year and a half old now.
Basically, he brought his studio to a friend of ours' lounge, and they did a open Saturday where you get 2-hour slot in and out, record a track. We got in and smashed it out, and he mixes it, sends it back to you. So it was like we wanted a demo, and it was probably the best and quickest way to get one. So we're November, first weekend of November, it's happening again. So we're going to try it again, round 2. Something a bit different but interesting.
I quite like the idea of being sort of like a portable recording studio as well. Yeah, it's a good idea.
He's a good dude. He's got a good ear for mixing. So if anyone's up that way, get in touch with him. Yeah.
It's like, considering they never met us and we did that one session, the result was pretty, like that energy kind of, transfused pretty damn well into the result we got as well.
All right, moving forward, just to keep the interview in the time frame. Have you got any shows coming up? I believe you have some shows that you want to mention.
Yes, so our next show is Saturday, the 8th of October. That lines up with our single release. But that's for the New Zealand Battle of the Bands final at Anthology Lounge in Auckland.
Come and support.
Yeah.
And then we've got a couple of gigs lined up for November 18th, 19th in Tauranga and Taupo. Jumping on the Sidewinder tour, playing with those boys again. It's always a good time. And then we've got other gigs waiting to be confirmed in December, and a couple penciled in for February. So it's slowly coming back out after COVID's disappeared.
Yeah.
But busy again.
But it's been great. They're coming quite consistently, so it's exciting.
apart from the gigs, and I know you've got a couple of things coming out, but what's your overall plan for, say, the next 6 months?
We've been recording with Link Flamingo. That's Nathan Souter. So we'll be tracking through the rest of our songs to complete the album, and then milk the crap out of that and become world domination.
How many tracks do you have on the on this album that's coming out? How many will it be?
Aiming, I'd like to get 8.
Okay, nice solid number.
Tidied up.
Ideally 10. We've got like 15 all up, but
It's what, early next year?
all various
Album
stages.
release.
The last question I ask bands is the open-ended. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
Oh, I was just going to say, the more support you guys can give us, it just means the world.
Go and
Really?
see live bands. Go and
and
see unknown
support
artists.
your music. It's like there's not enough. Everything's
Yeah.
getting remixed, and it's the same stuff. And
You've talked about recording, but you've got to see us live.
yeah,
Yeah.
we're-
That's where the magic is. It's wicked.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
that love to see musos play and make their own original music, because in my mind it's not supported enough. It needs to be put back onto the map of that's what musicians are. We loved all the music from our childhood, the 80s and all that stuff, because they wrote their own stuff, not kind of jumped on the backs of other stuff.
Yeah. Support original music.
Yeah, original music all the way. Doesn't get seen nearly as much because so many people are really busting their gut and trying to.
And watching
Yeah.
Netflix. You get out and support bands. Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, I ramble, but
Come and pay $10 beers and
Yeah.
yeah.
watch live music.
All right, guys. Well, thanks very much for chatting with me tonight, and all the best with the gig next week, the ones in November, and your plans for world domination and an album release.
Come see us on Saturday.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. All right. Yeah, I'll speak to you later. Cheers.
Great, thank you.
Thanks, man.
And thanks for watching.
Jet Empire!